Once it started raining, it didn't stop.
We've never seen anything like this happen before.
And it rained.
And the big problem with that is that it's just one shower after another after another.
And it rained.
This is a life or death situation.
We have not ever seen anything like this.
Were you worried you weren't going to be able to get out at some point?
Exactly, yeah.
And it rained.
We haven't seen this level of rain in 1,000 years. That's how big this is.
You can see it. What? Yes!
You really do feel helpless. And this is your city. This is where you live. These are your neighbors. It hit home.
We started getting these computer projections of rainfall that were just way out of the norm. You have to understand that the maximum 24-hour rainfall for Columbia was just over 6 inches. And we were getting rainfall forecast of 15 inches. And that's just unheard of. And as it turns out, there was an area of low pressure in the upper atmosphere that was coming down through the Tennessee River Valley into the southeast, and the center of that was going to pass south of us. And it was going to be able to tap all of the tropical moisture that was sitting right along the coast. And that's exactly what happened. We had prolonged rainfall at the rate of 1 to 2 inches per hour for over 12 hours. We knew that we were going to get a lot of rain. We knew it was going to be historic. We knew there was going to be flooding. What we did not know is where the flood was going to occur. We didn't anticipate that on Gills Creek you'd have a successive failure of 3 dams.
62 dams on the verge of bursting, potentially releasing millions of gallons of water.
So basically you were draining 3 lakes at once.
We call it the EOC, the Emergency Operations Center. We were activated for the entire month of October. It was the longest that the EOC and the state's emergency response team has been operational in 24-hour periods in its history.
I know I worked for 36 hours straight.
I was sort of isolated. I lived on a hill in downtown Columbia in a 2nd-story apartment, and I don't think that I immediately recognized the magnitude of what happened.
When we got on the air at 5 a.m., I wanted to communicate the message of how bad it was. This is a special report, and I know it's Sunday morning, and I know that you want to go to church, but I am asking you, do not go to church this morning.
In 2015, I owned my own home. Now I don't anymore. I don't have anywhere to call home.
Pretty much everybody down that hill there has lost everything this morning. Our vehicles, our clothes, our everything. But the best thing is that we still have our lives.
Is that a garbage can? Is that a dumpster?
That's a dumpster.
That is a dumpster that is now floating down Garners Ferry Road, Wildcat Road.
One of our editors had driven out there that day because one of our reporters had been personally affected, had his entire home lost by the flood, and he was driving out there to meet him to bring him a cell phone because he had lost his cell phone, and what he saw out there was just cars lining every inch of the street, just people helping people clean out their houses, basically.
6 hours ago, it was overflowing. Neighbors told me it had to have been going 65 miles per hour, strong enough anyway to get this bridge from 100 feet up creek over here to the parking lot. Now that water overflowing into these people's homes. Some of them don't have renter's insurance for this flooding, and they're wondering what they're going to do.
This TV station flooded. So that was one of the things that I will never forget, the fact that we were broadcasting and we were flooded as well.
You know, it would just get raining and raining, and the more it rained, the more we heard the trees fall in our house. And the trees that are around the complex All of them are rotten, and you could see so many. I even have pictures of other people's houses who trees fall on. And
we are at a 1,000-year level of rain in parts of the low country. What does that mean?
It means, what is the expectation that you would see this much rainfall over a period of time?
I think it actually means there's a 1 in 1,000 chance that this could happen any given year. So it could happen this year and next year, but there's a 0.1% chance each year that much rain will fall in that period of time.
We haven't seen this level of rain in the low country in 1,000 years. That's how big this is.
We don't know, with our climate changing, how this is going to change things in the future. We can't project what the future return rate would be. All we can tell you is this is what it is now based on the data.
Really, the majority of what I did in those days immediately after the flood was just find people who are affected and tell their stories.
I tell my staff, I'm like, you have to be prepared for this. What you're going to see is going to be heartbreaking. You're going to see people on their worst day. They may have never experienced anything this traumatic to them. So you have to be strong for them. You have to go out there and you have to be the one who doesn't break down.
I've still not yet got back to where I wanted to be because my home was paid for in full, but the flood came in and trees dropped on the top of my house and put a big hole in it.
Some of the things that I was reporting and talking to people about, they were like, here are all my possessions, can't save most of them. And of course, it's upsetting because that's your entire life and you can't replace it.
So the pictures of people's life's work laying out on their front lawn trying to dry out, all their family photos, all of their possessions they'd worked so hard for are just out there.
I truly believe that one day God is going to bless me with a home and a car because I lost both my vehicles in there and I lost my home.
One of the very nice sentiments that I remember hearing multiple times was, these are just things. We're still here, and that's the important part.